Hello and welcome to ACG's Tips and Tricks tutorial. Today we are going to demonstrate how you can pass parameters between different web sheets in a PAW workbook. This is a great time-saving trick for those who are migrating from TM1 Web into IBM's Planning Analytics workspace environment. Let's get started. Passing context element selections between web sheets in different books in Planning Analytics workspace can indeed be a bit more complex than in TM1 Web. However, with the right approach, it can be achieved effectively. In the following demonstration, one of ACG's consultants will demonstrate how you can use a dimension selector tile pulled from an exploration view to assist in the passing of context element selections between websheet books.
So now we're going to create two new books using the same two web sheets we had, but we're going to have to add a few additional objects into each book to give us the ability to pass the context of those web sheets. So let me create two new books. Using the same two web sheets we used earlier. I'm going to save this as new B1 to V1. And let's create a second new book with Websheet 2. Let's save this. Now I'm going to go back to our new Book 1 Websheet 1. And using the cube that this report is driven off of, I'm going to bring in an exploration from that cube. In our example here, we're using the revenue cube. It doesn't have to match the web sheet you used or anything like that. The purpose of getting this exploration here is to get to the dimension tile for the dimension of the context we would like passed. So here I'm going to go get to our scenario dimension. You could then delete the exploration. And then I'm going to click on our web sheet. Go to synchronize. Go to hierarchies. And I am going to synchronize our scenario dimension. Or in here it's actually called act versus budget. And we will synchronize there. Now you will see when I change this to budget, our web sheet changes to budget and vice versa. It changes to actual. You can see our dimension widget also changed to actual, so we know we are in sync. I'm going to save this. Now I'm going to go to our new Book 2 Websheet 2 and do the same thing. Get that scenario dimension tile out of the exploration. Get rid of the exploration, no longer needed. I'm going to click on our web sheet and synchronize that scenario dimension. Let's just make this clear out here. Now you can see when I select budget in the web sheet, our dimension tile changes, and when we do the same from our dimension tile, our web sheet will change. So those two objects are now synced. Let's go ahead and save that. Now I'm going to go back to our Book 1 Websheet 1 and add that same navigation button like we did earlier. Let's go to our new Book 1 Websheet 2, sorry. Name doesn't matter. I'm going to go into properties of our button. Let's turn on the navigation. Let's go to our other book. Let's select that. It's our new B2 W2, select tab 1. And important step, make sure to check the past context selection here. I'm going to go ahead and save. And now I'm going to take a quick peek at Book 2 Websheet 2 so we can confirm that the scenario changes or that context gets passed. Just make sure it's saved. We're on actual. If I closed Book 2 Websheet 2, go back to our Book 1 with our button. I'm going to change this to budget. You will see the dimension tile changed also. I'm going to navigate to our, I have to turn that off, navigate to B2 W2. And you can see now both the dimension tile of budget matches our scenario of budget in the web sheet. I'm going to close this, go back to Book 1 Websheet 1, and do the same test for actuals, just so we can see that it is indeed passing the context of what we have selected here. We have actuals selected now. And actual is what's shown in both objects here in this report. So now the last thing to do is just clean up this dimension tile. We need to keep this dimension tile in the canvas, in the report, in the book, but we obviously don't want to see it. So what I just do is I bring it behind maybe this or anything else we have on the report, and I just send it to the back. You can now see, I'll save it. You can now see in Book 2 Websheet 2, you cannot see that dimension tile. We saved it with the actual dimension, actual scenario selected. I'm going to close Book 2. I'm going to do the same and hide the dimension tile here in Book 1 by sending it to the back. You can cover this with another box. You can do this any way you'd like, but it does not need to be visible. I'm going to save this, turn off edit mode. I'm going to select budget now. I'm going to go to our Book 2 Websheet 2. You can see budget got passed into our web sheet. I'll go back and do the same for actual, just for confirmation that we're not just opening it on the correct scenario. It is indeed passing that context. Test of actual. You can now see actuals also in Book 2 Websheet 2. So that's it. While it does need to have those two dimension tiles in the books, you can simply hide them any way you'd like, sending them to back, covering them with a box. You just make sure they're synchronized, and that is how you can pass context between web sheets in PAW books.
And that concludes our tips and tricks for planning analytics workspace. We hope you found this tutorial helpful. Please click on the subscribe button for more tutorials.